Welcome back, everybody. We are dropping some knowledge on how to make the absolute best smashed potatoes on the planet. So basically, I'm starting off with a pot. I got my potatoes in, they're rinsed. They're all uniform size, okay? As you can see, cold water, cover the potatoes, make sure they're, it's about an inch from the potato. I'm adding rosemary, thyme, and garlic. Now I'm using a whole head of garlic, and this is important. You will see why towards the end.
Okay, then come around.
All right, so once I got those, I'm going onto the stove. I'm gonna start on high, and then I'm gonna turn it down to like medium heat. All right, so once we get to there, right, so we're boiling away, what you wanna do is turn down the heat a little bit. They make these little knobs that you can use, and so basically I'm turning it down so it's at a simmer. You still want it to cook, but not at an extreme rolling boil. All right, here I'm gonna speed this up a little bit, but I am tasting the water. I wanna see how much flavor the herbs and garlic have added. I already noticed that the rosemary has done its job. The flavor is there, so I'm removing it. The thyme and the garlic I'm leaving in, okay? Now, listen, when your potatoes get to like this, don't freak out. You wanna check and make sure they're cooked, and you actually want them a little bit overcooked. But if they are not cooked and the water level is at that temperature, you need to add more water, please, or else you're just cooking half of the potato. But my potatoes are actually 100% cooked and a little bit over. It's the reason why I leave them in the skin is so they stay intact. Right now I'm just removing the garlic and the herbs, and do not throw this away. I repeat, do not throw this away. You will see why a little bit later in this video. All right, cool, so we got all that out, and now I'm gonna strain the water off of the potatoes.
Dad, what's that?
And my son's joining me, so it's a little tag team deal. You get two for the price of one. So basically, so you don't get confused, these potatoes were strained. I let them cool down just a little bit so they're not steaming, but they're still kind of hot. And ideally, what you want to do is you want to have a cute little 4-year-old in the video. No, I'm just playing. But we're going to speed it up here a little bit, and basically what I'm doing is I'm teaching my son how I like to smash the potatoes. Now you can use a knife, you could use anything that's flat under the plate, but basically you want to smash the potatoes to they're like about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch, and you want to expose the flesh, but you also want it to be intact. Now it's very important, you will know if your potatoes are undercooked if they won't smash all the way. Again, in this video, I'm using medium-sized Yukon Gold baby potatoes. It's very important that you get fresh potatoes. You don't want potatoes that have been sitting on the shelf for like years, but we're speeding up this process, and you want to keep them all nice and consistent, and you will see why when we go to cook them. All right, and we're back in the game. In fast forward, this is the best sound in the world, so I just wanted to make sure I record properly. But anyway, we're gonna get right into it. So you start off with a little bit of olive oil or regular non-flavored oil. This is the oil I have, so this is the oil I'm gonna use. But this is a major pro tip. Don't ever just throw raw butter into a hot pan. You will burn the butter. If you add an oil, it will bring the smoke temp up higher. So as you notice, the butter is not burning, but I will still get brown butter. It'll just give me a little bit of leeway, right? If you put butter straight into a hot pan, it's just gonna burn, and then it's gonna taste nasty. So don't ever do this. You see people doing this, don't do it. For chefs, what we do is we use a little bit of oil first, then we add the butter, and you will notice you want it to be brown and bubbly. So that's why if you notice, I added it to one side of the pan, and now once I get to here is when I'm gonna start moving it around a little bit, and you'll see the butter will start to melt nicely. Now, if your pan is not hot enough, then your potatoes are gonna stick. But just a little pro tip, I always use non-stick pans. Primarily for every part of cooking, I've just noticed that you yield a better product. Only if you're like searing meat is when you use stainless steel. But for this application, a non-stick pan is a good tool. All right, so as you can see, the butter's brown. I flipped the potatoes here. From there, we're gonna reintroduce the herbs, right? So we have that maximum flavor. So I added some fresh thyme, some fresh rosemary, and we're gonna go to the plate up here. All right, so really important here. This is why I wanted to save the garlic, and I'm going to speed up through this process. But what you want to do is make sure all the garlic is cooked. If not, just put it back in boiling water, make sure it's soft. you're going to pop all of them out of the cloves, right? So there's no skin, there's no hull, there's no nothing, just the garlic cloves. And what you're going to do is take a fork and you're going to smash them. All right, now again, make sure the garlic is cooked. You do not want raw garlic. So if it's not cooked, just put it back on the stove in the water and cook it until tender. So here we go. I'm just using a fork, smashing this up, and it's fairly easy, but the next step you will see I will add some salt, and I will start to season this. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to make a vinaigrette out of these garlic cloves, right? So here's the plate up. Boom, stack of the potatoes. I'm going a little fast here. I'm just being a little fancy for my wife. I gotta, keep her on her toes, make sure she still loves me. So I'm plating this up for her, even though she plays like she's only gonna eat one when she eats the whole thing. So now the most important part about this vinaigrette that I'm making is you got to do it in the moment. You want all the flavors to be together but separate, right? So if this vinaigrette sits for more than an hour, it's no bueno. So in the moment, you mash up the garlic that was cooked with it. And then here, you're going to see me. I'm going to add salt. I'm going to come in with some pepper. And then I'm using parsley because I have it on hand, but basil or cilantro is a better herb for this application. And then you will see I'll reach in my cabinet here. Okay, so olive oil, very important. Get an olive oil that you can, that when you taste it, it's not as bitter. All right, this is important. I'm not going to lie. I like the Costco olive oil. It has a really good round flavor. Anyway, we're going to move on. Rice vinegar. Always make sure you have both. You have seasoned and unseasoned. This one is seasoned. The only difference is one has sugar, one doesn't. But for this potato dish, I'm going to use seasoned rice vinegar. And I eyeballed it, but you want to do about equal parts. So equal parts vinegar, equal parts oil. And then as you can see, I'm just mixing it around. And this is the magical part of this vinaigrette, where you go to taste it and you can taste the fresh parsley, the garlic, the vinegar, the olive oil. It's still kind of broken, but it's amazing on these crunchy potatoes. So from there, we're just going to take a spoon and we are literally going to plop them down right on these potatoes, a little bit around, right? You don't want to drown them. You just want to make sure that every potato has a bite of vinaigrette, and it's delicious. But here's the thing, that vinaigrette in about an hour, no bueno. The vinegar will cook the herbs, the olive oil won't be as forward, and here I just garnished it with a little parsley, and now I'm going to pass it off to my wife because she's the ultimate taste tester. So anyway, thanks for watching. Here's a little extra clip.
More? I mean, I'm just going to have a bite, so.
Really good.
Oh, I'm sure. It's hot. We're in October, love.
Yeah. We knock off for lunch.
Oh, yeah. That is so good. Yeah. That is really good. Did you just pull that out of your butt?
Yep. Ready. Okay, I'm gonna make your pasta right now.